Hello, and welcome to Words from Your Mama. I'm your host, Simone. If you're a mom or maybe considering being a mom and you want some encouragement along the way, then this podcast is for you. On this podcast, I interview moms from every walk of life as they share their experiences. So thanks for listening. Today, we're going to be interviewing Sister Lisa Mace. I'm not going to say too much about her. I'll just let her introduce herself to the audience today. So, what would you like to tell the audience about yourself?
Well, my name is Lisa Mace. I have two beautiful daughters. They're grown, and I have three gorgeous grandchildren. I live in Southern Maryland, and I have been living here since the year 2000.
Wow.
Actually, I moved here. I'm going to age myself. I am 21. But in the year 1979, we moved from California to Maryland. And then I moved out of Maryland in 1990, went to North Carolina. In the year 2000, came on back because my dad had cancer and I wanted to be with him.
Aww.
And it's now 2023 and he's still alive.
Yay, that's so awesome. But I'm sure North Carolina was way better than Maryland.
There is great things about North Carolina, and there's great things about Maryland.
So, I've known Sister Mace for just about the same time that she's been in Maryland, I feel like all my life. So, in all those years, I've been a part of her life. She's invited me over her house several times. We've had great meals together. Share with the audience one of your worst kitchen failures.
Oops. Kitchen failures. I remember a time that Sarah, my oldest child, she was, I'm going to say 10 months old. She was in the kitchen and I was frying pork chops.
Oh, man.
And I told Sarah, get out of the kitchen. I don't want to have you get popped with the grease from the pork chops. And pushed her out a couple times, and she kept on coming back. And the next morning, she woke up, and she had a blister on her forehead.
Oh, no.
The worst feeling that I could ever feel. I caused grease to go on my daughter's forehead. As the day went on, she got more and more blisters. And those, what I thought was pops of grease, was chicken pox.
Oh, man. That was a good one. You had me. I was like, oh, man. She's got blisters. 10 months old. Chicken pox.
Yes.
Man, that's unfortunate. I don't consider that a kitchen failure.
That's true. I thought I failed as a mom in the kitchen.
Oh.
So that's how I thought. What's another failure? Failure in the kitchen.
I know. She makes everything super great, so.
And there has been a couple meals that I've made. They were really awesome, and then we had company, and that meal that was always awesome just wasn't up to par.
Oh, no.
But isn't that terrible? I can't think of another bad time in the kitchen.
That's great. That's fantastic. I love it. So then, if you can't think of a negative, let's think of a positive. So what's one thing you can always go in the kitchen and whip up, regardless of what day it is, and it's always going to be like a hit in the kitchen?
Well, right now, of course, my children are all grown and have flown the coop. So right now, my go-to, probably 5 out of 7 days a week, is tacos. I can whip those up, and I usually have some of it in the refrigerator, and I can eat tacos for lunch and dinner, and sometimes breakfast. But when the kids were growing up, my go-to recipe probably was a shepherd's pie. Hubby wanted that, and so the kids had to deal with shepherd's pie a lot.
That's challenging. That's a challenging dish not to make dry. I made it once, and I failed epically, and I was like, well, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, when I asked the kids, what did I make a lot? Shepherd's pie. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Now, do you eat chicken tacos, or do you use ground beef?
I'm going to say normally it is ground beef. From the beef from Forest Hall Farms. Thank you. But I do also love chicken tacos too.
Yeah. Yeah, chicken tacos have been a big hit on this podcast, so that's the only reason I asked. So a lot of chicken taco mamas. So, I feel like you are amazing at this one. Tell the audience a little bit of how you recharge. What's the most relaxing thing that you do?
Well, now, as again, I'm a little bit older in life, but I am only 21. I'm going to say I love to unwind by going out and either going in the garden and weeding and tending to the garden, or going to my chickens. I'm a chicken mama. And so I do enjoy being able to spend time with the chickens. And I feel like I can tell them anything and they don't talk back, and I get kind of recharged.
Nice, nice. I love it. You're out with nature. You've always been like a green thumb, which it's amazing. If you've ever been to her house, you've seen, she's looking at her thumbs, but you've seen how amazing and beautiful her flowers are. She's got a huge garden out here, y'all. She just toured me through like all the herbs in the world, all the flowers. Yeah. The hostas. Those are hostas, right?
I do have hostas, yes.
Yes. See, and I've only learned things because of Sister Mace. So she's amazing. That's amazing qualities to recharge. Those are great. I thought for sure you were going to say like a hammock or just laying outside. I just knew that was going to be one of the answers.
We do have a hammock here on the property, and I'm going to say I think I got in it one time years ago. I just don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to. I think I want to, but the moment I think I have time to lay in a hammock, I think of all the other things I got to get done.
Sister Tice has a hammock, and I absolutely I'll go out of my way 20 minutes to go sit in her hammock and watch the stars at night.
Wow.
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
nice.
I'll get it out tonight.
So, tonight's a little cold. I don't know. It's a little cold. So let's get into these tough questions. So what do you love the most about being a mom?
I love that my children and I right now have a great relationship. They are mothers themselves. We all live on the same property. I get to see them every day, and we have a relationship. Growing up, I loved to be their mother. I loved the fact that they call me mom, that I can take them places people would ooh and all over them. And I'm very proud of my children.
It's so awesome. I don't know if you've highlighted this question or not, but I'm just going to ask it. So you were talking about how proud you are of your kids. What has been the proudest moment you've had as a mother to date?
When my children were young in elementary school, they went to a public school. Mm-hmm. And they came home one day and said, "Mom, their friends are going to make Friday jean skirt day, and all the girls are going to wear jean skirts."
Aww.
And I thought, that's really fun, even though it's their way of being a witness to their friends. And then those same friends, years down the line, they invited them to church. And there was times that I had to go back a couple times just to pick up all of their friends that they had invited. It was more than awesome. A car full. And again, just so proud that they would want to bring all their friends to church.
Yeah.
I was proud to be a grandmother as they grew up, and seeing how their mamas and how they want to keep their house clean, and how both of them love to cook, and seeing how they treat their children. I'm just so proud of them, how they become a mother to their children.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. I think as a parent, you want your kid to succeed, yes, but to even have them carry on traits that you've taught them, because you're teaching them things and you're like, oh God, I pray this doesn't go over their head, and you see it, them like doing it.
Okay, all right. And the truth of the matter is, I say that to say, all right, Sarah and Melissa, I hope you're not listening, but when they were growing up, they did not like to clean.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, what is going to happen when they get married? Oh my goodness, what is their house is going to look like?
Right.
And yet now when I go to their house, Mama, take off your shoes, take them off. And I'm thinking, what? When they were growing up, they would never take off their shoes. And just seeing how they are now,
Yeah.
I'm just very proud that they do cherish wanting to have nice things for
Yeah.
them, for their own family.
Yeah, for sure. You taught them great skills. So, you hit on being, like, what you love the most about being a mom. Why don't we talk about a little bit of hard things? Let's talk about the hardest part about being a mom.
As your kids grow up, you go from them wanting to be underneath of you, calling you mama, they love you, that unconditional love, and all of a sudden, it's like you blink and overnight, they have their own decisions. They have their own, they become their own selves. And that's not negative by any means. That's a great thing. But what's hard for mamas is watching them make their decisions, knowing that some of those decisions may not be good ones.
Yeah.
But knowing that the way they have to learn is doing it the hard way for themselves and reaping the consequences. And it was so hard as a mama, not wanting to just take it and say, no, don't do that, as they were teenagers or as they were young adults, but allowing them to be that own person. It was really hard and challenging.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful it's over. Thank you, Jesus.
I think that situation you're talking about brings in, like, the toughest 5-letter word I can ever imagine, and that's trust. You have to trust the process, number one, and trust that you raise them to be decent human beings. That's difficult, like you said, because you've poured into them for over 20 years, and then all of a sudden, well, now they're making their own choices, they're doing their own thing, and I don't have any more say in their life.
Right, I don't have any more say. Now I get to spoil the grandkids, though. Why can't we just start with grandkids?
No.
Oh, okay.
That'd be kind of weird. So, let's talk about the scariest moment you've had as a mom to date.
The kids were in elementary school. We were in North Carolina. We went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, man.
And we were in there and keeping an eye on both girls, and they were both separated in two different areas. So I'm going back and forth watching them, and all of a sudden I couldn't find Melissa. I looked for Melissa and I couldn't find her. And it went from me then to a couple of the staff looking for this child, and then more of the staff, and then they closed down everything looking for them, and then it went a whole search out. They went to go and call the police because we just couldn't find her any place, and now we know that something really happened to her. And somebody said, "Is this your daughter?" And there was a child underneath one of the tables asleep under the table of a birthday party, and she had fallen asleep under there.
The loudest table.
And it just scared me
That's
not
too
knowing
funny.
what happened to her.
Man, it's too funny. I have a strong dishate for Chuck E. Cheese. That man, that mouse, he's worse. He's a liar. He's, like, worse than Mickey Mouse. Like, he's the absolute worst. I hate him.
Oh, we don't like going there either anymore. Not even the grandkids.
Yeah, no. It's horrible. I couldn't imagine losing a kid under a loud table. Like, that's, like, the last place you would look. Well, that's good. She had a lot of fun. Kids get tired when they have fun. So
I guess
great.
so. She can sleep any place, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good... I wish I had that quality.
Me too.
So let's talk about 3 events that most shaped your life.
3 events as a mother, or 3 just events in life?
Just 3 events in life.
3 events in life. My first event that changed my life was when I got invited to a Pentecostal church, and I walked into this church, and I don't even know what you call the anointing that I felt when you walked in, it's like I never felt that in my whole entire life. I walked in and I felt like being Simon in the Bible. How much money? I just want to pay for this. I mean, I want this.
Yeah.
And that gave me a hunger for whatever they had is what I wanted. That was the first thing that changed my life. The next thing that changed my life was because I got married to my husband, we had 2 beautiful girls. And these girls changed my life. If I did not have these 2 children, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So these girls changed my life.
Yeah.
The third thing that changed my life, I'm going to say going to Faith Alive has been such an awesome experience. It has changed my life to be part of this congregation.
I believe it. There's nothing like being a part of a church plant versus like an actual church, because you're in it, like you're dedicated, like you
touch every asset, every aspect of everything.
Yeah.
And because it is small, you are just a close-knit family.
I love it. I love it. Did you want to be a mother?
Growing up, Melissa, she always said she never wanted to be a mother, right?
Yes.
I had the same conversation. I never wanted to be a mother. So growing up, I never thought about having children. Yes, I babysat kids, and yes, I did that part. But growing up, I never wanted to be a mother. I always wanted to work and to achieve great things, but never to be a mother.
Right.
And so I got married to Rocky, my husband, and after being married for 1 year, it's like this motherhood light clicked on, and I was like, oh, it's time to be a mother. So we talked about it, and I said, should we try for a baby? Yeah, let's try for a baby. Well, the first month, like, no, I got chicken. And the second month came around, no, I got chicken again. No. Third month came along, no, I'm going to get chicken again. Too late. So sad. I'm pregnant. And after having Melissa, it was like, nope, that's it. Definitely no more. Get those tubes tied. Never do that one again.
Right. Let's talk about family traditions. What were some family traditions you had growing up?
One family tradition that we had, we lived in California, and on my dad's side of the family, we would meet on Christmas night. And my mom's side of the family, we would meet on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas morning, we did a family time.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that's probably one tradition that we had. And then when we moved away, we kind of didn't have that anymore. And so the next tradition that we started once we moved out to the East Coast was that for dinner, we played cards every single night for dinner. And so our cards had ribs on it. It had lots of juicy stuff on it. But you had to play cards every night for dinner. Well, as I got older and I'm now ready to go and date, didn't matter if you went on a date. You had to stay and play cards, and then you can go out on a date. So I kind of fell in love with cards.
Yeah, you were
Progressive Rummy and Rook.
You're a rock star. And you know how to play poker, too.
We played poker.
Yeah. You try to teach me so many card games, but I just doesn't stick with me.
Do you want me to get out a deck of cards real quick?
No.
Oh, okay.
So tell the audience your favorite family vacation.
We didn't go on a lot of family vacations as when the kids were young. We lived definitely paycheck to paycheck. So we really didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to go on family vacations, full family vacations. But what we did do is we went to King's Dominion a lot.
Yes.
So as the kids grew up, every birthday we went to King's Dominion. As the grandkids came along, then we ended up having a tradition of taking them to King's Dominion on their birthdays individually, and we went together as a family. So we didn't go on a whole lot of family vacations, but we did do King's Dominion probably more times than you are alive.
I don't doubt that at all. I think when you were around, when you were around town, I was in my apartment, and I'd considered buying a season pass because I knew, I was like, Sister Mace is going to go at least 3 times, and it's worth the money if you just get a season pass. And I remember we went a couple times. But yeah, I remember faithfully every year you would go a few times a year.
Yes, so Rocky and I would go all the time. And when he would go, he would love to go to this log ride, and he would have to bring quarters. I mean, he would bring a whole pack of quarters because you could put a quarter in and you could shoot water and hit people as they were coming down the ride. And I just couldn't see what is so fun about that. Let's go and ride the ride. Who wants to stand there and just put quarters in when you can get on the ride and ride this ride? Well, when Rocky passed away, I had to go, and I brought a whole pack of quarters because I wanted to see what was so fun about this. Well, I tell you what, it was so fun. I'm like, why didn't I just take the time to spend with him while he was there? Because it was so much fun watching him get wet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was as fun as going down the ride, but...
No, I love that ride. I am not a big, water ride person, so when you invited me out and we went on that ride, I was like, this is going to be horrible, but it was the most fun I think I've had.
Ching, ching, thank you. Ready to go?
Yeah. So, tell us, do you have any regrets in life?
I think my biggest regret as a mother is not spending as much time with my children as I should, or as I could have. I did have a full-time job always. I was always active in church. I was always active in the community doing different things. And I always brought my children with me, always. So the children weren't necessarily left by themselves, but we didn't have as much of a one-on-one time with me and the girls. It was always me and the girls going to wherever. And I regret not spending more just one-on-one time with the girls without it being them with doing something else.
Yeah.
I think that probably is my biggest regret.
The quality time and making the
quality
most.
time. Yeah, the quality time. And not saying that the things we did weren't important at that time.
For sure.
But I think that looking back, they would have cherished my time individually and not have somebody else there with us.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I know my mom's felt the same way just with her raising us, and she got really ill and was in the hospital months at a time, so she wasn't with us. And she would try to make the most of the time that she did spend with us, but at the same time it just doesn't make up for the time that she wasn't there, So quality time is definitely, I relate to that being a regret in life. Do you think life as a mom is harder now as you have adult children that are living their lives, or is it easier?
Easier. Okay. It's easier because it's just me. Yeah. I get to go, and I get to go spoil the kids and the grandkids. And when it's time for me to get tired and go home, I can say, bye, see you tomorrow. And I get to come in and close the door. And so it's definitely easier in that way. It's harder because I am by myself. It's harder because you do want to we do live on the same property, but you need to give them their time and their space. So I don't go to their house every day. We walk every day outside. We get to see each other, but I'm not over there. We don't get to eat dinner every night together and stuff like that. So there is a lot more quiet time, and I don't get to have that every day that you have when the kids are young living inside your house. Yeah. So it's easier in one way and not as easy in others.
Yeah. I feel that.
But it's nice to be living by yourself and not have to have that responsibility.
Right. I was going to say the responsibility part is great.
Yes.
But you also, like you said, you have the loneliness and things that you have to deal with. And it's easy to point to God, or it's easy to fill your time
Sure.
with hobbies, but it's still not, like you said, the same as being with Him.
Absolutely.
What were your goals as a parent raising your two kids?
So as the children were growing up, I did work full time, and I still strived to be the best I could be at work.
Yeah.
But as much as I strived to be the best I could be at work, when I was at home, I always wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And so we would oftentimes do things together as a family, as we would do play games, not just card games, but we were always playing games. The kids loved animals. So I would come home from work and they would bring a bird in. They would bring squirrels home. They would bring ducks home. I mean, they had animals. So my goal was to be just the best mom that I could be when I was at home, and the best worker when I was at work. And when I was at church, I just tried to strive to be what God would want me to be. So always just striving to be the best in whatever area that I was in at that time.
Yeah. That's a fantastic goal. So then my question for you, follow-on question would be, how do you balance your commitments in the home with your commitments outside of the home while maintaining being the best that you can be?
I probably didn't do that best job. Those are some of the regrets that I had of not having that balanced life. I did spend, I was a yes person. If you asked me to do something, yes, I would do it. Even if I already had another home commitment,
Right.
I just would grab the girls and off we would go. Those are some of the regrets that I had as far as not saying no to things that and putting my children first. So I probably wasn't the best person with making those priorities.
And it's not like a shot at you at all. I feel like Sister Mace is a fantastic person, but she doesn't just do things and say yes to things. Like, I just do things and say yes to them, but I do them mediocrely. Whereas Sister Mace does everything with excellence. If you asked her to make a billboard for the President of the United States, she would get one of the Technicolor billboards and put every detail on there. She would do it with excellence. She wouldn't just do it just because she was asked to do it. So I don't take that with a grain of salt. Like, you did everything that you knew to do the best way you knew how to do it.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, the question is, what advice would you give to your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren?
Always tell your mom and dad you love them. Mm-hmm. Give them hugs every single day. And as you get older, you're going to find out that your parents aren't perfect. I know that's shocking. That's shocking. But as you become aware that your parents aren't perfect, still respect them and love them unconditionally. So when I was young, we lived in California, lived near a beach. We went to the beach all the time. And so growing up, I thought I was going to be a beach bum. And then I got older. And as I got older, I wanted to be the president of whatever company that I was working in.
Nice.
So.
Wow. Total plot twist. Like, you were like the lowest in the society standards.
Beach bum. Yep.
To running like the whole company. That's amazing. That's so crazy. So, that's literally the last question. Did you have, though, I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us. Did you have any last words of wisdom or advice that you wanted to leave the mamas with today?
Being a mama is very difficult. It is not easy. I wish there was a book or some type of how to 101 to be a mom. But there is not. And you're going to do things that are wrong or make mistakes. Live up to them. Your children want to see that you're real. Go ahead and apologize. Tell them you made a mistake and ask them to forgive you. Humble yourself before them, because when they're young, you're going to be perfect in their eyes. They're not going to see you as anything but this perfect person.
Right.
But one of these days, you're going to promise them something that you're not going to be able to meet. They're going to ask for this pony, and you're going to be able to say, I'm sorry, you can't have this pony, or whatever the case is. And you're no longer going to be this perfect person in their eyes. And so go ahead and be vulnerable with them and say, I love you, but I can't do that. And just be upfront, be true, because once that trust is broken and that you had talked about, it's really hard to get it back.
Right.
And
that's good. It's really good wisdom. That's great wisdom. Being vulnerable and transparent in front of your kids is challenging, like you said, because they're way younger than you, and they're not even a contributing member to society yet. Like, why do you need to be transparent and vulnerable? But again, you're looking up to them. Like, you're their role model.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that you are. I've seen parents give them everything and they become these just mean, wild children. I'm not saying that. But we are going to, you do have to lead your children in that direction. But you also have to give them a little bit of leeway and responsibility to make their own decisions. Right. I mean, you can make them come to church, but once they get to an age that they have to make that decision for themselves, if you've made them come to church and it hasn't been something that they have wanted to do, then once they make that own decision, they're going to walk away. Mm-hmm. So you need to love them and show them. And when they ask questions, it's not because they're trying to be obstinate. Mm-hmm. I remember my children asking me questions, and I'm thinking that they're just trying to be obstinate in those questions that they were asking, but they're not. They were truly trying to figure things out for themselves. Yeah. So sometimes you have to step back and realize, even though you've taught them and spoken into them many, many times, sometimes you have to just continuously reinforce it and reinforce it.
Yeah, that can be difficult because I hate repeating myself. And I'm sure you do too.
And over again.
Yeah, but repetition is key. That's what my mom always said. Well, Sister Mace, I appreciate greatly your time with us today. Thank you for your words of wisdom. And thank you for sharing your experiences and being transparent.
Simone, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the time that you're doing for all of us mamas and investing your time. And I can't wait to hear where this really takes you.
Woo-hoo, it's going to be great.
Worldwide.
Well, that's all we have this week. Be sure to tune in next week for more Words from Your Mama.